All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 894, alongside with one of our co-hosts, Kia Lyons, and we're joined by a really special guest. His name is Leigh Bodden. He's a former NFL cornerback. He played for the Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, New England Patriots. He also played for Duquesne University. First of all, Leigh, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. How are you and your family? How are you and your family doing? This is truly an honor. And correct me on the college if I got it wrong. So
No, you got it right.
Okay.
I remember when I first went there, I was calling it Duquesne.
Oh, wow.
So it's Duquesne, it's French. I didn't know that until I went there. So, you learn something new,
Yeah.
but appreciate you having me. And yes, you got Duquesne correct. You got it correct.
Nice. Leigh, so take us back. Tell us about your start in football and how you got inspired or how you got started.
Oh man, I don't know how far back you want me to go, but
Go back,
I mean,
way back.
man, I can remember looking at sports, football and basketball on that little TV with the antenna and only,
Yes.
A few channels, 3, 5, 7, but watching that. And then, after that, it was nothing else to watch. So I would turn it off and go emulate what I just watched, at a young age.
Awesome.
With like my socks. I would play basketball. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I would play basketball with that those socks in a dirty hamper, and I would throw the socks to myself and play football, tackle, pretend somebody tackled me, and
Right.
so I would say the love of sports was there. My parents are Jamaican, so my dad kind of wanted me to play soccer, and that's what he played. And so that was my first sport, that and basketball. And then football didn't come until I moved to Maryland, organized football. But I loved football. I would play at the park or on, basketball courts, wherever was a football. But it didn't come until I was 10 years old when I moved to Maryland from DC. And, I fell in love with it. That's where I can get my aggression out and my passion and just my moves and everything that I, again, probably looked at as a little kid. I just kind of fulfilled it out on that football. Having a 9-year career in the
That's
NFL.
awesome. That's exactly why I put sports on for my boys
Yeah,
and my daughter. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, and it teaches you so many life lessons.
Absolutely.
It teaches you to work together with people you don't know, and you grow to like them and respect them and know them, listening to coaches, following directions, implementing, practice into, kind of a game situation. And, it just teaches you a lot of things in life. Those are the things that you need. And so if you just take those tools that you learn as a little kid into anything in life, you'll be successful.
Absolutely. It always amazes me when you think about football from an individual. You have these great individual players, then everybody has to come together.
And each individual, you have to just do your job and depend on everybody else to do their job. And then that's what makes the team successful on that very play, and, and everybody, some job may seem insignificant, but it's really, a huge part in what everybody is doing. So that's why you just pay attention to what you're doing and, trust everybody's going to do their job.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, growing up in Maryland and obviously playing multiple sports, what was it like playing multiple sports before deciding football? Because in this generation is now important for kids to learn different aspects of sports before deciding on that one sport they want to do in the future. So for you, what was it like learning different aspects before choosing football?
Well, it was great learning about soccer, learning about basketball, because obviously now you got to learn the rules, play within the rules, and then see where you can, just take your skills and your kind of, your attributes and where you can put them on that field. And I think playing the different sports helped me. Like when I went to go play football, guys were like, man, how you that quick? How you that fast? You know, with soccer, like everything's with your feet.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to kick with your feet, stop with your feet. So, and then there was always long sprints that we had to do because it's a big field and you're always running. So just doing those different types of sports, it helps you in other sports where, you know, other people are lacking because they don't really use those type of movements and things like that. So I think it just benefited me. Basketball benefited me. Playing football benefited me. Playing basketball and vice versa because of defense, staying in front of people, you know, at my position, sliding your feet, staying focused on, you know, certain things. So I think it just gives you more and more practice just at a different situation, but you can still put in the same basic principles of whatever you learned and just put it somewhere else. And then, you know, again, you'll be successful at whatever it is you do if you just put those basic principles in.
Yeah.
Nice. And I would like to say that Nathan is starting coaching soccer soon, which is special because he loves football. But I think it's incredible to think about the footwork. Let me ask you, when you practice, Nathan and I went to a couple camps, NFL camps this summer, and, you know, they do ballet moves down the field. They do all kinds of moves. Do they ever use a soccer ball or any type of ankle strengthening or foot, you know, footwork, dexterity like that?
Not during our practice, but you do some type of rehab things. Sometimes they do things like that. I mean, you do the ladder type of drills to get your footwork going. But in the practice, no. But, you know, kind of behind doors after practice, before practice to get your feet warmed up. I used to do that before games and some practices. Just doing that step ladder to just get your feet moving quick so you can be prepared for when practice starts or the game starts. You know what I mean? So, but as far as in the practice, the total group, they don't do it. But personally, you know, some guys just go ahead and do those things. Yeah.
It sounds smart for that prevention too, that strengthening.
Absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
I might reach out to you for some soccer tips because I have no coaching experience, but I'm looking forward to this opportunity because I love coaching young kids, and because it's all about the youth now for us. So we got to make sure these kids are staying active. So I might have to reach out to you for some soccer tips, man.
Hey, man, if you need some, I got them. I was nice, man. I was nice. I remember I stopped playing at like 8 years old, and a guy, when I was playing high school basketball, he was a referee, and he remembered me from playing soccer when I was about to play my basketball game. You know, that's how good I was, you know, when I was little. Like he remembered me from then. But like you said, it's about the youth, and it's just about teaching. It's life lessons, you know, throughout, you know, playing soccer. And that's really what you're teaching them. And obviously, you know, you need those basics and to get them, you know, you want to win. You don't want to be like me, 16 and Detroit Lions. Even though, look, I made it. I'm still here and I'm still happy. But, you know, going through that time, you don't want it. So, you know, obviously you want to get them to get some skills, but the life skills are most important.
Yeah, so speaking of role models, I want to ask you, growing up in Maryland, obviously there's all-time great players that came out of Maryland. So for you, do you have any like role models around your area that you looked up to?
Man, to be honest, when I was younger, I can't say that I did because I just wasn't exposed to it. You know, obviously nowadays, social media, you know, kind of exposes kids to a lot of different things. The only thing I had was an encyclopedia, you know, and the television, you know, to give me some information. But and those sports figures are on there. You know, but as you grow to, you know, I just watched the Washington. They're the football team now, but you know, they were the Redskins back then, and that's kind of what I saw as somebody that I wanted to be like. And so I wouldn't say necessarily anybody locally in Maryland. I didn't know until I grew up. Now, when I grew up, I was like, oh, they're from Maryland. They're from Maryland. Like, it's like, you know, wow. But just, I would say the home teams were the people that I looked up to growing up.
Leigh, tell us, did you ever have any moments that you look back when that were really hard, real sacrifices, or really a challenge where you thought, I'll never do that again? Or was it, you know what I mean? Was it worth it for the give, for the get?
You know what? I don't think I have anything like that, but I mean, there were times where I probably should have quit football. You know, I know that because of, you know, not playing. Like I tell the story all the time, and I have it in like a rap that I do of my life. But when I was in 10th grade, high school, they threw me in the fourth quarter. They were like, Leigh, go in there.
Oh, wow.
And then when I ran in, the whistle blew and the game was over. And as a 15-year-old sophomore, like most people would have quit. I'm like, I ain't doing this no more, you know, but the fire inside of me just made me come back to practice whenever we had practice the next time and just, you know, try to give them hell in practice. So I wouldn't say it's nothing that, you know, I wouldn't have done, you know, because everything I did is, you know, it was purposeful, it was for a reason. And whether the outcome wasn't good or bad, you know, you just got to keep moving forward.
That's awesome.
If that's, you know, kind of what you mean.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that story is crazy. And what did you learn from that? Like when they put you in and the game was over, and obviously you didn't quit because that's a good thing you didn't quit because you had, in my opinion, you had a great career and you got to play with one of the best franchises in football with the Patriots. But for you though, what did you learn from that day when the coach brought you in, but the game was over already?
Yeah, I mean, what you learn is how tough you are mentally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be honest, I don't even remember the car ride with my mom. I don't remember what she said, if she said anything, but I was just in my head like, you know, this is what I want. So they're not gonna derail me from it. I don't care. And so I get an opportunity to play and practice. So I treated it like my game. And so that's really what it taught me is just it's just to never quit. Like, and I'm going to show you, even though right now you may think like I'm not good enough to play, but I'll show you next year. I'll show you at practice. I'll show you whenever I get the opportunity, I'm going to show you. And then, you know, I left that school and I went to Northwestern and they saw, you know, all the people who was on my team saw, all the coaches who were there saw, you know, what I did. And, you know, I had the last laugh.
Exactly. Send them a whistle.
Yeah.
Seriously though, I think it's wonderful to kids to hear that because I always like to say, like, whatever gets your attention, it's a matter of whether it's good or bad. It has your attention for a reason. It's what we do with it. It's our mindset, and then it's our action. So definitely.
That's true. That's it. Because, you know, people say knowledge is power, but I don't think the knowledge is the power. It's what you do with the knowledge. Like you said, putting it out there is the power. You know, because I can think all day that I'm the greatest player and I'm this, but if I never put it out there, then, you know, I wouldn't have the power to keep going. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's the true power. So just like you said, so I just worded it differently, but it's true. It's what you do with what's that mindset that you have.
Interesting. So I want to get to your college recruitment process and what was that like? Tell us what was that like and how many offers you did get and what made you choose Duquesne University?
Yeah, so that's interesting because so now that's kind of piggybacking on what I was saying sophomore year. Now I left and went to a different school, which was Northwestern High School. And it was like, I don't know, 3 miles away, if that, from my old school. And they weren't very good at football. They weren't a powerhouse. They were a public school in Maryland, Prince George's County. And they hadn't won a game for a long time in their history before we got there. So then my junior year, we got there, we only won 3 games. And one was a forfeit because of a forfeit. And so, you know, that's when the recruiting process starts. You know, nowadays it's starting early, but, you know, it's like sophomore, junior. And then by the time you get to the senior, like you kind of know where you're going. But so my junior year, that was my first year at the school and we only won 3 games. You know, ain't no colleges coming knocking on that high school's door.
Right.
But now my senior year, we lost 1 game in the regular season. So we kind of like shocked the world. We were shocking the county. Beat the defending champs. I believe they were the defending champs the previous year. And then we lost in the state semifinals. So we were 1 game away from the state championship game. So now we kind of got a little buzz. And so colleges, you know, that may have not got all their class and got their guys. So colleges came Maryland, actually, they wanted me to be a recruited walk-on, but like I felt like I could play at the next level immediately, so I didn't want to do that. So it was VHS back then. I made a highlight tape and I just shopped at the schools. And then my stepdad and myself and like a few other players on our team, we had our tapes and we just drove up to like 4 schools in Pittsburgh, and it was one other school. And we Robert Morris and Duquesne, they were really interested. Well, all of them were, but I wanted to go to the league. So Robert Morris and Duquesne, I was trying to figure out which one, but I was like, if I don't go to the NFL, then at least I have a great education. So I felt like Duquesne was a little better in that. So that's why I chose Duquesne. And so that's how I ended up at Duquesne. And they really liked me from a film, and they were kind of jockeying Robert Morris and Duquesne, and I just decided on Duquesne.
Leigh, that's really amazing, especially because you changed schools. What was your mindset when you dealt with the whistle? You dealt with that, then you changed schools, and I assume that you didn't know anyone there yet. And then you had a tough season, and then you had to pick it back up and say, this is what I want, because you had that drive. But did you have any kind of mindset or any kind of routine that you did to keep yourself psyched up for the next season for junior year? What was that process for the youth to inspire? Because then you're handing out VHS tapes, and shout out on the tapes. I have friends who handed out tapes.
Right. I mean, now it's easy. Now it's easy for these guys. They got the huddle and they're on the internet, so it's easy for people to to find their stuff. So, but no, to answer your question, like the mindset. Again, I always had the mindset of like, hey, I'm the best. I remember again, going back to Boys and Girls Club, guys talking to the team and saying only less than 1% of you guys are going to make it. And in my head, I was like, well, I'm going to be that less than 1%. Yep. I'm going to be the one. And it was just by doing what I needed to do. And to be honest, 9th and 10th grade, I really didn't do what I was supposed to do. I was a little nervous because it was a private school. DeMatha High School was one of the most prominent sports and academic high school here and around the country. So I was like kind of intimidated. So I kind of felt like I wasn't the best. And I didn't know, but I didn't even go out for teams to see if I was. I stacked up to them. In my mind, I was like psyched out. Wow. And so my 10th grade year, that's why my mindset shifted. I'm like, man, I am just as good. And then when I got on the field, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm just as good. And so I kept that mindset going to the new school, right? And I didn't want to go back to that 9th grade year where I was like, no, I'm not good enough because I'm at a new place and they may be better. Or, I just went out and gave everything that I had. Yeah. And I made every team. So I was MVP on every team. And, that just kept boosting my confidence to realize that anything that I put my mind to and keep my mind to it, it can be achieved. Right. And that's the story of why I, could just keep going. It was just, I just kept the same mindset, and I didn't let anything or anyone deter it, or anything that I thought outside of it. You know what I mean? Because it came to my mind for a reason. Don't let doubt creep in your mind, because when it does, I didn't want to be 9th grade Leigh. I didn't play football or basketball in high school, 9th grade. And I was like, don't be that Leigh, because that's not you. Yes. You know what I mean? So I just fought. I fought for what I wanted, and I got it.
I love it. You represented who you want to be. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing for Duquesne University? Because in 2002, you guys had a special year. You guys were ranked number 1. You guys were ranked number 1 on defense, in total defense, in total score and defense. So what was that like, that 2002 year, and what was it like playing in front of those fans?
So to be honest, it wasn't many fans. Probably thousands, in the thousands. But it was great. I was playing football. What I wanted to continue to do. I didn't think I could make it from the NFL, from Duquesne, 100%. I didn't think like that as a freshman, because that was my goal, because the competition wasn't that great, to be honest, to be 100% honest. Did I play with some great players at Duquesne? We had some really good players. And I played with some good players too, against other colleges, but I knew they weren't the Florida State guys. I knew they weren't the Miami guys. I knew they weren't Alabama guys. You know what I mean? So it was fun, but I was dominating. You know, I was doing what I was supposed to do. And like you said, that 2002 year, that was my senior year. You know, we had it rolling. And I think that the 3 years previous, you know, was an accumulation of that 2002 season, just showing that, like, the progression of where we were going. And we wanted to play bigger schools, bigger teams. I know the players did. Now Duquesne is playing bigger schools, and that's what their goal was. But I wish I'd have done it, because there was a lot of questions about me, like, Leigh, you guys didn't play anybody. Who did you face? That was what was happening in the NFL, but we'll get to that later. But no, it was great playing at Duquesne. Got a lot of great friends there. Obviously, I'm second all time. I don't even know if you guys know, in 1AA in interceptions for my career.
Yeah, wow.
And
That's awesome.
it was mainly because I was like, how is the NFL going to know about Leigh Bodden at Duquesne? You know? And so I went to go, the internet wasn't the way it was back then. I looked up on a computer at the computer lab, and I said, you know, typed in the top player of career interceptions in 1AA, NCAA 1AA, and it was 28. And so I was shooting for that number. I was shooting for 30, to be honest.
That's smart. That's smart. It's a great school to go to too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. It's a great school.
No, I'm just curious. Just a follow up here. Sorry, I just want to ask, because why do coaches and NFL team? I mean, something needs to change with this, because some of these NFL coaches and teams don't recognize small colleges, because you can always find talent in small colleges. What is the reason why they overpass the smaller schools for the bigger schools?
Yeah, but I get it. I 100% get why they do, because again, Leigh Bodden at Duquesne. Okay, you're dominating these receivers that would never even play in the NFL. Right? We got the top of the top. Like, so what if you can guard this guy? Can you guard Terrell Owens? Can you guard Chad Johnson? Like, this guy isn't Terrell Owens. This guy isn't Chad Johnson. So that's the reason why sometimes they don't recognize guys, because it's like, how are you going to stack up to these guys? And that's what everybody asked me.
Yeah.
They were like, Leigh, who have you faced? And to be honest, the reason why I felt like I was going to get drafted was because my junior year, we played Sacred Heart, and Devin Johnson was the wide receiver. He was leading the nation in yards per catch, like 25, 28. It was close to 30 maybe. And I dominated him. He had 2 catches for I don't know how many yards, like 15, 17 in that game. And I had an interception as a junior. He was a senior. And then he got drafted that year in the 6th round. So all my friends that were on my team, because they watched the draft, I didn't. They came back in spring game and spring practice. They were like, Leigh, you're definitely getting drafted next year.
You made those stats.
Yeah.
What an opportunity to have to play against him.
Yeah. So they were like, man, you know, he got drafted, so you're definitely getting drafted. So that was the only guy that I could say, okay, you know, y'all thought he was good enough, or the Dallas Cowboys thought he was good enough to play in the NFL.
Right.
And so somebody else should think I'm good enough to be in the NFL, because I guarded him and I dominated him too. Yeah. You know, so so I get it. You don't know how they're going to stack up against these top receivers in the league. And again, and goes back to when you talked about fans, it's different from playing in front of 2,000 and 60,000 and 70,000 for some people. For me, I wanted that. You know what I mean? I wanted that. I wanted to play in front of, because the crowd really doesn't matter until you make a play. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about the crowd and looking at the crowd and, you know, while I'm about to defend somebody, you know, but after I make a good play, it's like, I want to hear the crowd. You know what I mean? So, but again, some people can't play in front of big crowds. Some people can't, you know, play with better competition, but it's just, I just wanted the opportunity. Yeah. And the opportunity that I had at Duquesne was just that. And that's all I can do is whatever's in front of me, dominate it. And that's all I can do. Just put me in front of Terrell Owens. That's what I told him. I was like, put me in front of him. I'll show you what I can do.
I'm going to send this to Terrell.
Yeah, we'll send this to Terrell Owens. Kia can do that.
Leigh, you were
only
going
played
pro
him
no matter,
once.
you were going pro no matter what. How did it feel when your friends came back to you? Because like I grew up at the same time where there wasn't a whole lot of media. You
Right.
don't know, especially when you're at a smaller college. How did it feel when your friends came up and said, you're definitely going, or were you already just like, I know I'm going, because you knew you were going pro because you had the mindset. And when you got the call, how did that feel?
Yeah, in my mind, I knew it. Obviously, again, it's a dream. It's a dream. But then you get to a point where you're like, okay, this can happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I thought at my sophomore year, I was like, this can happen if I just keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and so again, then junior year, that this presents itself, and that gave me even more proof. Like,
Right.
yeah, you can make it to the league if he made it. And so, but then my senior year came. You know, I thought I was going to get drafted. Man, the scouts were coming to my game, my workouts when they were privately working me out at Duquesne. Pro Day came, all the teams were there, and I even flew to San Diego. I thought San Diego was going to draft me because the DB coach loved me, and Coach Holmes was his name, but I didn't end up getting drafted, and just got a lot of calls from a lot of different people during the draft, and then obviously ended up picking Cleveland because I felt like it was the best fit for me to be able to be on a team. But yeah, I mean, it was exciting. It was exciting, like you said, even when the guys came and told me, because again, I didn't know about the draft.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about the draft, I just didn't watch it. And
Right.
because it was in the 6th round. Like after the 1st round, I was like, okay, but
Right.
it was encouraging. And it, like, again, I was on the right path. If I just keep going, keep doing this, I'm gonna get there no matter what.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, so speaking, obviously you didn't get drafted, you were undrafted, but the Cleveland Browns gave you an opportunity. But how tough was it just sitting there waiting for your name to be called, but not getting drafted? But obviously, how grateful are you that the Cleveland Browns gave you the first opportunity to start your career? Yeah,
definitely grateful. But going back to that process, like I said, I didn't watch the draft that much.
Mm-hmm.
I would just watch the first couple picks.
Yeah.
That's just growing up. And then that was it. And I kind of did the same thing, but I still had to be around my phone at home, you know what I mean, to be able to get a call, because people said that, they were thinking about drafting me. And to be honest, I got a call in the 7th round. I won't say what team, because I've said this before. But they called me and they said they had a lot of picks in the 7th round. You can, people can Google and they'll know which team I'm talking about. But they said, you probably wouldn't want to be drafted in the 7th round, do you? And I was like, nope, and hung up the phone, because I didn't want to be drafted in the 7th round. Because sometimes 7th round picks, sometimes it's like, they throw a dart and be like, this is who we're going to pick. Sometimes it seems like it, because they don't even make the team a lot of the time. So I just felt like I needed to pick what team I was going to at that point of the draft. I didn't want to go in the 7th round just to go, say I was drafted. I wanted to be able to choose my own destiny,
right.
Sort of. And I just chose right. And yes, I'm grateful that Cleveland gave me the opportunity. But again, I had my pick. I mean, I could tell you from my cell phone ringing to the upstairs line in my mom's house and the downstairs line in my mom's house, because they had 2 lines. They were all ringing. And my cell phone's ringing. My agent's calling me, talking about some team was on the line. My stepdad is saying, hey man, the Eagles were on the line. They had oh my God, who they have? Troy Vincent. They had all those older guys. And then they were like, because I was a taller corner. So they kind of, were like, you can learn under these guys and grow into a good corner. So it was a lot of team. My mom was on the downstairs line. People were calling. So I had to make a quick choice. And I just kind of did all the research, talked to my agent, and then made the decision to play with Cleveland.
Man, your house was a telemarketer office that day, huh?
Yeah, it was buzzing. It was buzzing. So I would have rather just the one call from a team saying, okay, we're taking
Wow.
you. But again, that was my path. And that's how my path was. Again, we talked about, sophomore year. Like just wasn't easy. That just wasn't how my life, I guess, was written to be like so simple and so easy. And so I embraced it. And like you said, it was a telemarketer. Phones was ringing all over the place. But it all worked out.
Wow.
Leigh, so after the telethon, you're driving to you're going pro. How did that feel? I always like to ask about the rookie experience because, back then you didn't have any family go with you. You went alone.
Right.
And how was that like? What was that like?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I enjoyed it because, to be honest, again, back then I went to like the 5-star camp basketball. Like my junior year, my mom sent me on a bus. There's no cell phones. There's no nothing. She didn't know. Like, it's just like, you go there and then come back in a week. I'll pick you up.
Go succeed.
Right. So I kind of got that experience already,
Okay.
But then I was excited because, again, this is the job that I wanted. This is what I wanted. And then I wanted to show like I belong. Again, like I was talking about with the process of them drafting me and saying, who have you faced? Okay, now I get a chance to go against all these people that were in big colleges that you think is so great. I'm going to show you that this little kid at Duquesne can stand with any one of them. And so I was excited, again, alone, but that's a good time to think and, understand and talk to yourself like, man, this is why you here. This is what you wanted. And, just continue. So, and it was just a great experience. It was fun. It's what I dreamt of. I used to remember standing on Duquesne Field. And sometimes I used to daydream when we were like in stretch line. I was like, man, this time next year, I'm going to be in the NFL field, So again, it was just exciting. And I would just embrace the opportunity and just took advantage of every opportunity that I had every time they threw me in.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm just curious. I just want to ask.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It keeps lagging here, but okay. I was going to ask you, obviously the team that was going to draft, the unknown team that was going to draft you in the 7th round, did they have any interest in the free agent when you were undrafted in the free agent market?
I don't think so. I don't remember them calling. Again, that call that they gave me was the call that they gave me. And I was like, I was kind of arrogant a little bit.
I love that you hung up.
Yeah, I hung up because it's not what I wanted.
You could not be taken away. You knew where you were going and what you were getting.
Exactly. So, some people may look at it as crazy, but I just felt in my heart that's not what I wanted. So I just was honest. It was pretty honest,
Right.
And again, everything worked out. But that team, who knows, what would have happened if I just went with it, and not went with my heart. So again, I'm just glad that, I just went with my heart, stuck with my guns, and went to the team that I felt like, again, was best for me.
Wow.
Right. And for the kids listening, we'll call it brevity. You had to keep the line open for the right call.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, and that's how you got to look at it. You close the door, other ones is going to open. You know what I mean? As long as you, stay true to yourself and believe that, what you've done, your body of work, not one person is going, like it. Somebody else will like it, as well. And if that person right there in front of you doesn't, somebody else will. And just, don't let that stop you. So, yeah, no, absolutely.
When you were tuned up.
Yeah, no,
tuned
absolutely.
In, tuned up. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, some way, to be honest, I don't know how and why, but at a young age, I was really tuned in mentally. And I think that's, again, where it starts. It's not these physical, games. It's mental. And if you talk to anybody that played sports at a high level, they always say how mental it is. It's more mental than anything. And if kids can get the mental aspect first, early on, man, like they'll be to the moon. You know what I mean? Because that's really what it's about. It's the mentality. Yeah, you can have the physical attributes, but the smarts, the know, and the belief is what you need to be able to, kind of set yourself apart from everybody else.
Absolutely.
So what was it like playing for the Cleveland Browns? The dog pound, those fans are crazy in Cleveland. Obviously, Yes, now they have a talented team now. But what was it like playing for the? You guys had you had a lot of great veteran teammates on that team, like Sean O'Hara, which I love, a
Oh,
great
yeah.
offensive lineman. You had William Green. The offense was great, and you had a great defense too. So, what was it like just playing in the city of Cleveland for you?
Oh man, it was amazing. Again, I was glad I picked Cleveland. The city was great. Like you said, the fans were great. I mean, even though we weren't the best team out there, like when I would just go to signings or just be out, they were like, man, just beat if you lose every game, we don't care, but just beat Pittsburgh. Like that's all they wanted to do was beat Pittsburgh. But I mean, whether the game was bad, good, I mean, they stayed, they cheered. I mean, sometimes they did boo, but they were still there and they were still supporting for the next week. And so you always want to give fans like that a winner. You know, that's why you want to go out there and give your all. And I think every player did that, gave everything they had out there for those fans because, I mean, you know, it's like they deserve it, man. They come out, they support, and they love that team. And, you know, I know that for a fact, like you said, even the veterans, and it was learning it from those veterans and understanding the work you got to put in to be able to, again, you're not necessarily doing it for the fans because you still got to do it for yourself and your family and everything else. But, you know, fans are important in that game, in our game. So, and they come and they support. So you want to give them something to support and root for. So, and that's just giving your all. And so that's what we did. It just didn't work out. I mean, we had a 10-6 season 1 year, almost to the playoffs. So, you know, it was good to see them. I think it was last year. Going to the playoffs and beating Pittsburgh. So I know those fans were going crazy.
Yeah. Hey, but speaking of that year, another star came into Cleveland, LeBron James, in the same year. So what was it like coming to Cleveland in the same year as LeBron?
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing, you know, because a lot of hype was there in Cleveland. So we were trying to just live up to what he was going to bring to the table. And he was an 18-year-old kid. Yeah. I mean, I remember we had a Monday night game. He walked in there with a white mink coat on. Wow. I don't know if y'all can look that up, man. I don't know if y'all remember
I'll look it up.
We played the Rams. We played the Rams, and he 18-year-old kid, he walked in there with white mink coat. Oh, my God. Yeah, so we were just trying to live up to him, man, and just be great because we knew what he was going to bring to the table. Yeah. So it was just it was an exciting time in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. But obviously, you know, we just didn't give him everything at that moment when LeBron, you know, worked his way up. And I think I forgot what year they were in the finals. Yeah, I was still there. Like 06, maybe 07, one of them. Yeah, because I remember going to all those games. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great that you did
they played the Spurs. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, because, you know, I support, you know, we were all, again, it was like a close-knit, you know, kind of family, I would say. Just trying to go to all the games, support them. They supported us. So it was just fun times there in Cleveland.
That's nice. The first time Kobe came to our high school, he was in a double-breasted white jacket, just in from Italy. And I remember thinking, my mom had told me, go meet him, go say hello, welcome him to school, because nobody's going to welcome him. He's so good.
Right.
So
good.
People
go, be nervous. But they, you know, they going to come, you know, dressed to impress, man. You know, I mean, and that's who they representing, you know, themselves. And that's how they want to represent themselves. So, you know, it's always good to see that. And people can see that and, you know, envision, man, wow. You know, I want to do that one day.
Embrace the star that you are.
Yeah, embrace the star that you are. Absolutely.
I like that. Yeah. Leigh, let me ask you. I imagine that it was incredible and like electric feeling going out of the tunnel the first time. Tell us how that felt, and then your greatest football moment, whether it was NFL or as a young kid. Tell us about both.
Well, man, running out the tunnel, like you said, was just exciting. Again, to run out there, to see these fans, like 60, 70,000 screaming, you know, and then, but it was not only that, the first game when those jets flew over and the Star Spangled Banner and it was just the sun was shining and the green grass and the clean air, it just felt, it was just amazing. It was amazing. Wow. And so I would say even my best football moment was running down on the first kickoff, the very first kickoff. And I almost made the tackle, but my boy Sean Thompson made the tackle. I was mad because I was like, man, I wanted to, you know, I was so close, but he got it. But then I got the second one, our second kickoff. But I mean, because it was like surreal. It was like, again, it was the dream. And, you know, like movies, when you watch movies and people are running and all you hear is the heartbeat, you know, you don't hear the crowd. That's kind of how I felt on that first kickoff, you know, because I was just so in tune and in the zone. And I was like, man, this is the NFL, you know, and I was shocked that I was even on the roster because, well, not the roster, on to play, because it's a 53-man roster, but only like 48 dress or 45 dress, something like that. So I was just amazed that I dressed, and I learned that my rookie year. I thought everybody dressed that was on 53-man roster, but not everybody does. So I was just happy to be out there the first game or the first, my first season, run out there on kickoff. Like you said, just that whole experience was just, oh man, I'll never forget it. You know, I'll never forget that moment. You know, so I would say both. It was extremely, again, a dream come true.
Sounds like a movie.
Then it was really a movie. I was like living a movie right then and there.
Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. So moving towards your career now, obviously after Cleveland, you went to Detroit, and I don't know if you want to speak on the season. I don't want to because this is the year when you guys went 0-16. But I just want to talk about the roster and what happened to you, like. Because you got, in my opinion, you guys had a talented roster that year with Calvin Johnson. I love Calvin, obviously Hall of Famer now. Congrats to him, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So and you played with Dan Olszewski, the guy, the legend on ESPN, and you also got to play with Cliff Averill. I love him, a great defensive player in the league.
Man, that was his rookie year.
Yeah. So just tell me what happened to you guys during the season? What was not clicking for you guys that season? But what was it like just playing in Detroit? What was that fan base like?
Oh, the fan base, well, to be honest, it wasn't like Cleveland. You know, coming from Cleveland, like, you know, them Cleveland fans are rowdy. And, you know, Detroit fans, it didn't seem like, you know, because when I came from Cleveland, it was just like a drastic change. You know, it's not like they didn't cheer and were happy, but, you know, Cleveland Browns were like all out. They just went all out in just how they expressed their feelings. And because one time my sister, she came to a Detroit game and she's like rowdy. My sister's like rowdy. And she was just getting up cheering for me and this and that. And somebody was like told her to sit down or something. You know
Senator Philly.
No, but she was cheering for Detroit. I mean, you know, it was like,
yes.
Like, so she, you know, she wasn't cheering for the opposite team. Like, it was Detroit. She was cheering for me.
Right.
But so I was a little different. Right. But no, the season, I think it was an accumulation of a lot of things. One that I always talk about, having the quarterback situation solidified. We did not have that. Like, John Kitna started in the beginning. I don't remember if he got hurt or not. I don't remember. I think he might have got hurt though. And John Kitna is a really good quarterback in the league. He played for Cincinnati. He was successful there. Then he went to Detroit. But I think it was injury. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So now we had to move on to, I think, Dan Orlovsky. Dan, his first game, I don't know if y'all remember, he ran out the end zone and got a safety against Minnesota. We were like, what are you doing? And you were running in white, bro. but yeah, and he kept running. I don't know if y'all know that play and seen that play.
No, I got it.
But that game, he played really good, and we had a chance to win that game. They called a bad pass interference call on me. It was ridiculous. And that gave them, the Vikings, a chance to kick the field goal and win the game. I mean, that was a bogus call, and anybody can look at it and see that. And that was a game we should have won. And Dan played some really good games after that, but then they went and got Dante Culpepper, you know, just off the couch. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't playing. So it was like, and then again, I've said this before, you've seen teams go on winless. The team makes a change. Either the coaches change, they fire the coach, or you throwing out fake field goals, fake reverses. You doing something different, you know, to try to spark your team. We didn't do none of that. We just kept doing the same thing, thinking it was going to work, but it wasn't. So it was like, you know, we didn't do much to change. But we were in some games, don't get me wrong, but it's sometimes you got to bring out some wrinkles, you know what I mean, to kind of fool some people or something, you know, because it wasn't working. So it was an accumulation of a lot of things, I think. But again, like you said, we had the players. Their system didn't necessarily have, we didn't have the players for their system, you know, because they were so I don't mind talking about it. Like you said, Calvin Johnson, Hall of Famer, was there.
Yeah.
You know, that I played against. Fans, whether they like me or not, they don't know the work I put in. They don't see games every day, you know, on television and watch me. I grade out 90% every time. With my coaches, they understand how, you know, I take serious this game, and so do the players. So, you know, I could talk about that winless season all day long. I don't mind at all. Like I told you, I got thrown in the fourth quarter and the whistle blew. Like, I done been through everything.
I love that story. I love that story. Chris Long on his Chalk podcast had his dad on, Howard Long, and he was talking about how some the grounds, it's harder to play than others. And I never even thought about that. So I know you have that home field advantage, but did you ever have any places that you played that you loved and it was just easier? Did you have any challenging grounds that you played?
I wouldn't say. I think, you know, they kind of fixed up all the fields kind of when I was playing. So you got turf fields.
Yeah.
Some turfs are better than others. So, but I wouldn't say, but like you said, Cleveland, you know, what the home field to me is, it's not even necessarily, as far as the turf, it's just like the atmosphere. It's like you feel, you know, you just feel good there. They make you feel good, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes.
So it's more the fan base.
So it's more the fan base. I mean, the field, it does play a part now. Trust me, it does play a part. Yeah. But I think, like I said, they kind of cleaned up a lot of the fields, and they always try to make the fields good.
Right.
I remember, man, one turf that I really liked is Houston. They had Bermuda grass.
Oh, wow.
It was like, yeah, it was amazing. You know, it was amazing to play on. It felt good.
Yeah. And I imagine air quality too.
Yeah, air quality. But like I said, so Cleveland, I felt like it was good. It was right by the lake. You know, you get some nice breeze. So again, I loved Cleveland.
Yeah.
The field was always greatly manicured. Again, like you said, the fans, the atmosphere, the breeze. But when it got cold, that was the issue.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah. So now I want to ask you. Now you get to after Cleveland, Detroit. Now you head to one of the best franchises in football. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm saying this. I feel like the Patriots are the best franchise, number one franchise in football. I'll put them above my Cowboys. I don't care, because I love the way they run their business, especially Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick. I love the way he runs his business. It's a strict, it's a business, a strict team. So I want to ask you, leaving a Cleveland Browns team into the Detroit team, going to a more professional team. Look at this roster. I have the roster pulled up right here next to me right now. I can go down the list. You play with Tom Brady. You play with Vince Wilfork. You had a nasty defense, in my opinion. You play with a lot of great players here, and you play with the late Junior Seau.
Man, that was amazing.
Yeah. So what was it like going to New England and playing with that franchise?
Man, so I mean, it was obviously different than Detroit, because, you know, kind of like I said, when walking into a stadium and you feel, you know, just the aura. I felt the aura just in, you know, the Patriots locker room and the facility, and just knowing what they have already accomplished. And so you just don't want to mess that up. You know what I mean? So you just, whatever they doing, I'm doing, you know, because I want to be a part of this train that's, you know, winning Super Bowls and doing great things around the league, and people are noticing. So it was just really learning from Belichick, learning from the other players, following, you know, everybody else's lead, but obviously being a leader myself and doing what I do, because I bring something to the table as well. That's why I'm here. And so, but it was just amazing to play, like you said, with those great players, great minds. Randy Moss, like I said, Junior Seau was crazy, because man, I had his shoes in 8th grade.
Wow.
You know, and I'm in a locker room with this guy, being able
Law
to
of
talk to him,
attraction.
like talking to this guy, laughing with him. He was playing like, I don't know what it's called, a banjo. Like it was just so surreal, you know, being in that locker room. But then you still all about business though. You know, I mean, yes, you have fun, and yes, because people don't know, like Bill Belichick be cracking jokes every now and then, man. You know, but then it's still business, you know, at the end of the day.
I mean,
so I think it was just great to be in that locker room and change the atmosphere and understand like winning was important. Winning the division is important. Doing everything you need to do outside and inside the facility is important to the organization. And that's why they have been on top, like you said, for a long time now.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. Did this make you a better player going against the offensive practices where you're going against Randy Moss or Wes Walker, whichever receiver you're going against, and Tom Brady's a quarterback? Did this make you a much better player in your career?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, practice is always harder than the games. Why I say that is, one, because these guys know you and they practice with you every day. So they kind of know where you weak at a little bit, so they can attack that, you know what I mean? As far as the receivers or the corners or whatever, you know? And so you play against somebody so much, you like know what they're going to do. So you can kind of maneuver. So it's difficult for you to do what you got to do, you know, in practice. But then when you're playing against some greats every single day and they're challenging you every single day, it makes it easier to go out there on Sundays and play, because the toughest task was there with Tom Brady, Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Joey Gallo, whoever we had as receivers. And then, you know, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. You know, he gonna put, I remember one time, man, I had this dude covered, I think it was Joey Galloway, at the corner of the end zone. He threw it like, Tom threw it at the low corner of the end zone and Joey just fell and caught it. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, but then I've had, you know, plays where I intercepted Tom or batted passes down. So it's like, you know, you're doing this against great competition. So it gives you confidence to go out there on Sundays and ease. Like, man, you know, if I just do that, then I'll be good on Sunday.
I think it's spectacular that you noticed the energy in the room when you went in the locker room. And I truly believe that your energy was vibrationally matched because you're doing greatness and being your greatest self, that you were there and ended up there. So tell us about some type of magical moment in the locker room where you come together with the guys, any kind of story where you thought, wow.
You know, I would say every encounter, to be honest, it's really not one. It's really not one. I mean, because to be honest, man, like everybody embraced me. I mean, Richard Seymour was there too, but then he got traded. But I think everybody embraced me.
That's awesome.
It felt like home. Again, when I walked in Detroit locker room, it kind of wasn't that. I mean, some people would, you know, greet you, you know, but then it was like, I'm looking around and nobody's talking to me. It's like, what, you know, it's like, damn. You know, they brought me in, you know, I'm on the team, guys. I'm here, right? I'm a teammate, you know. I'm not saying it was like a deserted island there, but, you know, it was just like here and there, guys would just, you know, say things. But I think in New England, like everybody was embracing me and talking to me to make me feel at home. And that's kind of what it felt like when I got there. So it really wasn't one encounter. And I think, you know, everybody, they ask me every time when I play for the Patriots, they'd be like, man, how was Tom Brady? And, you know, he's just a regular guy, man. He's just, you know, he talks trash, you know, jokes, you know, everything, you know, just regular conversations. But that's how everybody was there in the locker room. And I felt it.
Hey,
such a great fit. I'm so glad that you got there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whenever you talk about the Patriots, Cowboys, or whatever team, you got to talk about the team itself, not just one player. You got to talk about the whole team and how
absolutely
how you guys came together. But I want to ask. I mean, obviously now Patriots have a new era, a new quarterback now, Mac Jones. But I want to ask you before we get to your after career, I want to pay some respects to the late David Patton, who passed away, former receiver. And what did he mean to you guys in the NFL and especially to the Patriots?
Well, so to be honest, I never played with David Patton, so he left. But obviously, I watched him play, and you respect his game. I mean, obviously, again, the Patriots were on TV a lot, and they were in the playoffs a lot. So to watch him and watch just how he played, and obviously, again, to be in the locker room for a long time with the Patriots, Bill respects you as a person, as a player. He went over to Cleveland, had a good career. So it's sad to see, what happened, but I'm sure the people that played with him are definitely impacted, more than me, because whenever you lose somebody, especially in that fraternity, like, you never want to see it, especially at a young age. But I would say more than me, other players that played with him and had that interaction with him will be more. But again, I'm watching his craft, watching him. I love watching people do great things, as I think everybody does. And so you respect what he did, while he was here on this earth, and that's what we all, just got to look at, man. Each and every day, it's never promised. So that's why you got to live the day and impact people at that very moment. So you can live on, and people can talk about you in great light when you are gone.
Yeah, rest in peace, and our prayers and thoughts are with his family and friends. And it was just crazy when I saw the news.
Yeah.
He was a great player back in the day. But tell us, looking back now at your career, what have you been working on? And obviously, you're a world traveler. You like to travel a lot. So, but what else you've been working on after your career?
Well, what? I opened a gym, a franchise. I recently closed that, like, before the pandemic. Well, right as the pandemic hit, because I just knew I kind of didn't want to be in that space, because I didn't know how it was going to be afterwards. So I kind of got out of that business. But I was doing real estate as well. Part of funds that fund tech companies out there in Silicon Valley with Next Play Capital, and and then just traveling, just family and friends, being free, man. That's what people do when they retire. They go off to an island somewhere.
I love it.
Yeah, but I just so happen to retire at 30. So I live like a 65-year-old life, a 70-year-old life, now I'm about to be 40 in a 40-year-old body, But
you work
to be
hard.
honest,
You work hard for it.
Yeah, but to be honest, the body isn't 40 years old. I need a hip replacement. I got bad back sometimes. So, but I worked through it. It's what I wanted. It came with football, and I don't regret it. And all the time I say I would do it again, but I would do some things different. But I do it again.
What would you do different?
Well, just what I eat. I would eat differently. I would work out a little differently, more rehab than like strength,
Okay.
or incorporate that more. Those are the only two things I would do differently, is eat differently and kind of train differently. But nice. I started to train differently at the tail end of my season, and I ate how I'm eating now, but I still also ate a bunch of, I went to Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, just because, you're young, you can do it. But I shouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? And I think just the little injuries that I had just accumulated to become those injuries. And I think that's what kind of got in my way in the NFL to kind of be where I wanted to be, like a Pro Bowler and, obviously Super Bowl and maybe even Hall of Fame. Like, this is what people want. But I think, one, being undrafted and having injuries kind of derailed those dreams. But so those are only two things I would do different. Just eating,
those are important shares.
Yeah, eating cleaner, and just being more preventative and just working like the smaller muscles as well as the bigger muscles.
Right. And Leigh, share with us your key to balance, whether it was when you were playing or now. What's one of your keys to daily balance?
Yeah, daily balance is just, it's necessary because like I have kids. They're 17 and 14, but they're not kids anymore. But but I used to tell them, like, eating asparagus is good for you. But if you ate asparagus every day, that's not good for you, because you need balance. You need other things. Your body needs other things to fuel. So it's not eating bad. You're not eating bad, but you're not eating good you know, and which in a balanced, you know, meal. So I think everything in life is a balance. And you have to find that. And everybody's balance isn't the same. You got to find what fits for you, I think, and knowing yourself, knowing your body, how it works, and being in tune, like I said. And I was in tune mentally of like dreaming and work ethic, but then I wasn't in tune like with my body as I should have been, and how it works and how I need to, you know, make it run. You know, I mean, guys would say it, people would say it. We had nutritionists like and telling us to eat this, eat that, but they didn't break it down to where I've broken it down now as an adult and understand what this does to your body, how it impacts you, how it helps, you know, and now putting more of that in
reparation too.
Right, absolutely. So I think the balance of that is important, just to know, you know, what is good for you, what's not, you know, and then just, you know, balancing it out however you see fit, however you feel like it best fits you.
Well, yeah. So now we do this fun little segment on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. You ready for this?
I'll tell you, I was born ready, man.
It's fun.
So speaking of fitness, what's the toughest workout you ever done? Because today at my gym, they made us hold a 5-minute plank.
Oh, that ain't too tough. I do that, you know, all the time. But I would say when I had a workout one time, it was just doing, I think they're called burpees. Yeah. But with like med balls.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were heavy med balls. And this was the first time I got introduced to it. So it was tough. It was a tough, you know, little exercise and workout when I first did it. But I mean, every trainer I've been to, they try to kill me. They try to work me to throw up and this and that, like, and their workouts are nothing. I kill them, you know. And they be like, yeah. They be like, man, they be trying to kill people in workouts, but they never get me. I always, yeah. But inside, sometimes, you know, I'm feeling it, but they never would see it, you know. But I push through it. So,
Leigh, favorite food?
Wow. You know, it's so tough because right now, so I don't eat meat anymore. Okay. But my favorite food, and people don't call this food, but it's like probably watermelon or mango.
Nice.
One of the two. Like I could eat those all day.
My friend was eating watermelon yesterday, and I said, "Are you going to ever try with mustard?" He's like, "Not this one, not this one. I'm not messing this one up."
Well, mustard.
I was like, "I get that. I get it."
I think I've seen that on the internet.
Did you try? Yeah.
Nah, I don't like mustard. I don't like mustard. Okay, I've never liked mustard.
Don't try.
That's crazy. So obviously with college football back, NFL coming back, my Cowboys played this Thursday against Tom Brady. So I can't wait. So what are you most looking forward to just to see fans back in the stadium?
You said what I'm looking forward to?
Yeah, with the college football season back and then this Thursday, NFL coming back. But what are you most looking forward to seeing just to see fans back in the stadium? Yeah,
I mean, that's probably it because I'm sure those guys miss it. People were always asking me, they're like, man, you know, what do you think it's like? Like, to me, it's like practice. Those games were like practice when they didn't have fans in the stands. Obviously, you're going to play, but it's like sometimes you get a little boost from the fans, you know, and I think the fans love that they give those guys a boost as well. You know, you can see it when guys are like, you know, putting their hands up, telling them, let's hear it, you know, so they feel connected, you know what I mean, to the players when they do that. So I think that is what, you know, I'm excited to see again is the fans there. And I love to see good football anyway, but I think that enhances those players at times. Sometimes people may not think it, and it's not probably every play, but it's like some plays, man, the fans can really get you going.
Okay, I have 2 questions. I'll ask you, what is your favorite football team, college football team that you're rooting for this year? And then also, where is your favorite place to vacation?
Okay, well, Jackson State now is my favorite because Deion Sanders is coaching. And that was my idol growing up.
I love his sunglasses yesterday.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, man, Deion had to come out with
Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
So I would say now Jackson State, because I was just such a big Deion fan growing up. And again, I got to play against Deion. Shoot, I remember one time somebody sent me something where I made some plays on Sunday, and Deion was like, man, this guy's a great player. And, he might be on his way to the Pro Bowl, like when he was on NFL Network. So, it was good to hear him, speak good things about me, when he was there analyzing. But so I would say Jackson State for that reason, for Deion Sanders. Wow. And Duquesne University, I gotta, that's my alma mater. Yeah. Can't leave them out.
You can't leave out either. Primetime picks. I mean, come on, Duquesne. Yeah. And then where's your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my favorite place to vacation now is Tanzania, Africa.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I want to go there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The Serengeti, I don't know if you guys heard of Serengeti.
Yes.
It's just, it's called Endless Plains. That's what Serengeti means, Endless Plains. And it's like, you can see for miles, and again, lions, hyenas, they just all roaming. And it's one of the biggest, it's the biggest like grassland out there in the world. So I love visiting there. I love animals, wild animals. And they have a beach there. Zanzibar is affiliated with Tanzania. So, a beach is close by, kind of serenity again. Like I live a 65-year-old, life, it's just peaceful out there. It's not much going on. It's just relaxing. And then I get to see some animals because I love the zoo, but this is like God's zoo out there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You got to look up the Chris Long Foundation because every year they hike Mount Kilimanjaro.
And I did that. And I actually saw that. I saw that. But I didn't know every year they did that. But
yes,
I did
absolutely.
It in 2017.
It's amazing. That's why I want to go so badly. I have 3 kids, so I'm waiting. But I love that you just picked that.
Yeah. I mean, because so in 2015, when I first went to Tanzania, I was on a plane and all these people were going and they had backpacks. And I was like, because I'm going for safari. I was like, I didn't know what they were going for. And they were climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And I was like, what?
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then so I was like, all right, I gotta come back and do that. So
yes, absolutely. Because he does it with retired NFL players and then veterans as well.
Yeah. And again, after I did it, that's when I learned that, he had been doing it, I believe. Yeah. And it's a great experience. Whether you make it to the top or not, it's all about the journey. That's what life is. It's just about the journey that you take getting there and all the stops that you have. Man, it was great. It was amazing.
We got to get you on Chris Long's podcast now then. And then
yeah. That we can talk about that, man, because it was an amazing experience, man. And to make it up there was grueling, man. It was great because it was ice. It was ice up there at that time. So because
I can
sometimes
just go to base
year,
camp and cheer everybody on.
Listen, I'm sure you can make it to a bunch of different camps that they have, elevations.
I mean, to hear about it, it's staggering, but it's amazing what they do.
It's amazing.
Speaking of Africa, my father does a lot of work in Africa with the kids, and every 2 years or every year, my dad goes there to help out the kids, give them clothes. We always donate clothes to the kids. And I think 2 years ago, my dad taught him how to work a clock, like teach them time. So my father does a lot of work in Africa. So
yeah, that's amazing. And every time I leave there, I leave with nothing. I like give away everything, all my clothes, my shoes,
Isn't that amazing? I bet that feels amazing to help them all out in need.
Right.
So speaking of HBCU schools, what do you like the growth about it? Obviously now you got Tennessee State University who played
with Eddie George.
With Eddie George, and now we're part of this Hugh Jackson Foundation, which we'll get to later, and he's an offensive coordinator for Tennessee State. So what do you like about the growth of HBCU schools now?
I love it. I love seeing Deion and Eddie George doing that because it brings the light to it. Again, I wasn't a big name guy. So if I go coach, FAMU, it's not going to be, the talk of the town. You know what I'm saying? But it's good that guys like that have a big name, that they're going back to help, these historically black colleges to, get some recognition because there are some good players everywhere. Again, it's not only black colleges, but like at Duquesne's of the world. And those are the Duquesne's of the world. But they're just historically black colleges, and it's just shining light on them and getting them some exposure, because there are some good players that come from these schools, but they just don't get the opportunity because they, you know, Alabamas and the Tennessees, or, you know, all these other big schools that are around there. And what it does is it gets now these top high school recruits. They're like, man, I want to go play for Dion.
Mm-hmm.
He's got connections with the league. You know, I'm gonna make it anyway. You know, I want to go play with a professional and learn from him before I even, you know, get there. So, and his coaching staff, a lot of them, I believe, played and or he trusts them, you know, that they've coached in the league. So it's just important. Like you said, Hugh Jackson now, yeah, he was just coaching Cleveland.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackson knows me, and he knows me from the Cincinnati days when I used to play Chad Johnson. You know, and me and Chad used to have great battles together. So it's good to see Hugh have another job, and it's good that it's there with Eddie George at Tennessee State.
When you say Ocho, I think of humor. Tell me one of your funniest moments in the locker room or on the field.
Funniest
with
moments. With anybody. Well, me and this guy, Sean Jones, man, he was a safety. We were like kids out there. Like, it was this game we used to play, like, I don't know, it was just dumb. You would do this and make somebody look. You would just do it anywhere and make somebody look. And just be like, I got you. So I got an interception one time and I was on the ground. He came and slid and like did this. And he was like, got you. I was like, man, what you doing?
That's funny.
So that was funny. And then I remember this dude, Felipe in Cleveland. He used to do this game. It was stupid. And I used to be mad. He used to just go and chop your neck, like just out of nowhere. And I was like, Philippe, I'm not playing that game. He's like, nah, you in it, man. You in it. And so I just used to have to always guard my neck, and then I would just have to get him. So it was just like funny, stupid stuff like that in the locker room I just used to love. But those are the two that stick out in my mind.
Yeah. It's fun to hear the fun.
Yeah.
So before we get to the last few things here, do you think it's time to build a statue for Brian Hoyer in front of New England Patriots? Because I feel like this is the 100th stint for him in the Patriots uniform.
Man, I love Brian Hoyer, and I think he's a great quarterback, man. So I remember when he went to Cleveland, he was having a good year early on, and then he got hurt.
Yeah. And
that kind of derailed him. And I was rooting for him. Man, I had it on my Twitter. I was like, Brian Hoyer for mayor. You know, like he was like really doing well. But like you said, now the stint in Cleveland, he'd have been in New England so many times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's a great quarterback, and Bill Belichick knows it. He's a great quarterback. He's a smart quarterback. He's a good leader, good locker room guy. So he needs that with the rookie, you know? And so Bill Belichick understands that. And so it's hard to find. So when you find a guy like that and he's available, it's like, go get him to help your locker room and help this young guy. So they might need a statue of him right next to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Whenever they make a Tom Brady statue, they better put Brian Hoyer right behind him.
Absolutely. Who's your basketball team, Leigh?
You know what? Growing up, I never had a team. I just used to always like players. Obviously, Michael Jordan was my player. But I never liked the team. I just always liked players in basketball. So I wish I could give you one, but I don't have one. I don't.
Okay.
Speaking of a quick story here, speaking of NBA players, on my birthday last year, I had the opportunity to interview Isaiah Thomas from the Bad Boy Pistons.
Oh man,
it was such an honor interviewing him, and his daughter helped me out to get the interview. And man, what a great, because I learned a lot from that interview, and he's obviously one of the best players to play in the NBA, and now he does a good job on TV. But just to be able to talk to him, to get to learn his personality, it was just awesome. So
yeah, no, I mean it's good to just talk to even you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so grateful for you being here. It's the Inside Edition, and we appreciate it.
It's a Labor Day edition, special day today, Labor Day.
Yeah, special day. And you know what?
We're making
Labor
it work.
Day, obviously, no. So I'm used to it. I used to always say this because I know NFL players are working right now as we speak on Labor Day. And I used to be like, this is Labor Day. What are we doing? I used to always joke about that with the coaches and, just say it because it's the day of labor. You're supposed to be taking off and we're working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm used to it. Again, having, good
Thank you.
company and good questions and conversations with you guys is, you learn a lot and feed that energy off each other. So that's why I like doing interviews with whomever. You never know, what connection you have with people and what you can bring to the table with people. And as long as you give who you are, I mean, you're gonna, receive it well and come off like we need this, I need this, type of conversation. And it's always good, like you said, to talk to an Isaiah Thomas of the world. But it's great to talk to you guys as well, you know what I mean? And just kind of pick the brain of guys that, have done some great things athletically,
Absolutely.
So the last two things here, our team, obviously, I said it earlier, we're part of the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So I'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Again, this is the first time I'm learning about it, but I'll definitely check it out because
Hugh Jackson,
that's something.
Hugh Jackson's really big in this, and we're helping. Our team is helping him and his assistant Kimberly. So we're gonna hopefully we can stop this because human trafficking is so horrible out there, and we got to stop it in some way.
Yeah, we definitely got to stop that. That's definitely important in this political world, and that needs to be addressed. And I think if the politician's not going to address it, then the people need to. And so that's why it's always good that people are starting foundations for certain things that need to be tackled, because these are human lives that are getting derailed and changed, against their will. So that's something that is important in this world, and that's commendable that you guys are part of that, and Hugh's doing that as well.
And the last thing,
I can help.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll send you the foundation, and so you can go check it out. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. Do your job as best you can. That's really all I can say. For me, I feel like natural healing is the most important out there, and I think if we incorporate that somehow, some way, a lot of people will be better and kind of won't be in the hands of those doctors, and kind of will limit these things. But but when these things do happen and they come in their hands, they're treating them with care, and just understand that that's somebody's family member, loved one. But again, just they got to keep doing what they're doing, and helping those people get out of the hospital, and not need them as much.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 894 with former NFL defensive back and cornerback Leigh Bodden. Go follow him on all social media formats. This is truly an honor. Now he's a world traveler. He's working on some other things. But keep up the great work, Leigh. It was truly an honor to have you on the show today. We learned a lot. We would like to have you back on the show at some point so you can meet the full team.
Okay.
Yeah, keep up the great work, and stay safe. And thank you again.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys again for having me. It was great. Like you said, hopefully I'm on again and meet the team and keep moving forward. We can have conversations about whatever, after football and life in general. So, whatever it is, you guys just let me know. And I'll be back. I enjoyed it.
Oh, and also happy Labor Day, everyone, too. So that's
okay.
Thank you, Leigh. We have 500 more questions, so we would love to.
Yeah,
we appreciate you.
Yeah, get me back and we can tackle those questions whenever you guys get me back.
Yeah,
That's good. Thank you.